Ventriloquist. It's a matter of getting yourself a puppet, practicing a little bit, and then enjoying yourself. Well, that concludes our stay. Why don't you say good night, Meg?
Good night, Meg.
No, that wasn't part of the end. That concludes the first half of our show. We now have our intermission. You can all come across the hall. We appreciate you joining us for the second half of the show. We have just one brief announcement. Somebody left a plate of food in the music room next door here. If you're responsible for that, please remove it. That asks us to keep food only in the cafeteria. Thank you. Okay. On with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, greeting you on behalf of Edgar Bergen, Charlie McCarthy, Ray Noble and his orchestra, Anita Gordon, Mortimer Snerd, and our very special guests, Fred Allen and Portland Hopper. And here's Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy.
Mr. Bergen, would you forgive me for a mistake? A little mistake?
But Charlie, you haven't done anything wrong, have you?
No. But suppose I should say, I borrowed your car, let's say, and, scratched the fender, let's say.
Yes, but you didn't, did you?
No, I'm just, let's say.
Yes. Well, that's all right, because my car is in the garage.
Yes, it was, let's say it is.
Yes.
Well, I did take a little spin, Bergen. I did take a little spin in your old car.
In my old car?
Yes.
What do you mean, my old car? It's only 2 months old. Why, you can't tell it from a new one.
Well, you can now. Hardly looks like a car at all.
Why, yesterday I could have sold that as a new car.
Well, today you can sell it as an accordion.
Well, what happened to my car? Did you scratch the paint on the fender?
I regret to inform you there are no fenders.
Well, then you crashed into somebody.
I didn't miss them.
Yes. Where is the car now?
Well, I've got the horn in my pocket.
So, tell me, was the car badly damaged?
Well, it's sorta, Bergen, wife's full of hairs. Junk is junk.
That's right. Well, I'd like to see this car for myself. Now, just where is it?
Well, it's on Main Street.
But where on Main Street?
Well, between 5th and 8th.
5th and 8th.
Yeah.
Well, is it near 5th or is it near 8th?
It's all the way between 5th and 8th.
Around us in this system. The following presentation is to remind us of the beauty and joy soon to come.
For the Yes, every day we will say to God our Maker thanks. Sing out with joy of heart, you too can have a part. Live for the day when
here. And after a few days with the Jell-O, it'd start to kind of get tougher where you could bounce it. Did you ever try that? Yeah. Tell the good. Thank you. Hey, wait a second. Hey, who do you think you are? What are you doing up here?
I'm a meal on a wheel.
You're on a wheel?
Fruit salad.
You look,
Banana?
you look more like a fruitcake. Get out of here. Hit the road. Once again proving they really will let any of us on stage. But the problem with the Jell-O course was that after a while, once you could bounce it and you get good and bouncy like that, you could get it to stick to the ceiling if you waited long enough. But you had to watch out, because once it wasn't as fresh, they'd end up with the whipped cream on it, and that was one of those warning signs that you really didn't want to mess with it. Once they had the whipped cream on it, it was past its prime. They were still trying to sell it. Our next part is going to be a dramatic reading done from a kid's book. Elizabeth Hill will be doing that for us. And it's called A Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day.
I went to sleep with gum in my mouth. Now there's gum in my hair. When I got out of bed this morning, tripped on my skateboard. By accident, dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running. And I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At breakfast, my brother Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast cereal box. And my other brother Nick found a junior undercover agent cold drink in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal. I think I'll move to Australia. In the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. She let Audrey and Elliot have seats by the window, too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said, if I don't get a seat by the window, I'm going to be car sick. No one even answered. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. In school, my teacher, Mrs. Dickens, liked Paul's picture of the sailboat better than my picture of the invisible castle. At singing time, she said I sang too loud. At counting time, she said I left out 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I could tell because Paul said he wasn't my best friend anymore. He said that Philip Parker was his best friend, that Albert Moyle was his next best friend, and that I was only his third best friend. I hope you sit on a tack, I said to Paul. I hope the next time you get a double-decker strawberry ice cream cone, the ice cream part falls off the cone part and lands in Australia. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At lunch, Paul had 2 cupcakes, and Albert had a Hershey bar with almonds. Paul's mother gave him a piece of jelly roll, little coconut sprinkles on the top. Guess whose mother forgot to put in dessert? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. And that's what it was. Because then my ma took us all to the dentist, and Dr. Fields found a cavity just in me. Going back next week now, fix it, said Dr. Fields. Next week, I said, I'm going to Australia. On the way downstairs, the elevator shut on my foot. And when my mom went to go get the car, Nick made me fall where it was muddy. When I started to cry because of the mud, Anthony called me a crybaby. And when I started punching Anthony for saying crybaby, Ma came back and scolded me for being muddy and biting. I told So then we went to the shoe store to buy some sneakers. Nick chose red ones with white stripes. Anthony chose white ones with blue stripes. I chose red ones with blue stripes. But then the shoe man said, sorry, we're all sold out. They made me buy plain old white ones, but they can't make me wear them. When we went to pick up my dad at his office, he said not to play with his copying machine. But I forgot. He also said to be careful with the books on his desk, and I was careful as could be, except for my elbow. He also said not to play with his telephone, but I think I called Australia. My dad said, please don't pick him up anymore. It's a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. There were lima beans for dinner. And I hate limas. There was kissing on TV. And I hate kissing. My bath was too hot. I got soap in my eyes. My marble was down the drain. And I had to wear my railroad train pajamas. I hate my railroad train pajamas. When I went to bed, Nick took back the pillow. He said I could keep. And the Mickey Mouse nightlight burned out, and I bit my tongue. The cat wants to sleep with Anthony, not with me. It's been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. My ma says some days are like that, even in Australia.
Arranged to be with us tonight for another great performance here at Canton Organy Hall. Tonight we'll be listening to the Vienna Sausage Guys and Girls Choir performing a work by Katerina Peretroikov. Our solo vocalist tonight will be Joachim Basil. We hear the orchestra toning up in the pit. And here comes the conductor. She takes her customary bow. And now we're ready to hear the Ballad of Oh Boy.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
got a butt.
Oh boy.
You forgot to pick up Jay.
Oh boy.
He's still down at IGA.
Boy.
Oh boy, summer transitions. Oh boy, last minute tension. Oh boy, I'll have a hoagie, I'll ride a burrito, okay, I'll take anything.
2, 3,